This is the Effing Business Podcast. You ask the questions, we answer them.
Bringing up Kobe, right? What Kobe said was that if all I was basketball, then everything else was a failure. And I agree.
I bet you he wasn't saying that while he was playing basketball.
No, I bet you he does. It's because here's the thing. Kobe played in the league how long? 20 years?
He's like one of three players.
21 or something like that. 20-something years, whatever. So he's like, what, 40?
I think he retired at 38 or 39.
Okay, whatever. He's 38, 39. He's young as shit. He's made millions of dollars. Sure, he can sit back and retire, but he's young as shit to put energy into anything. It could be a foundation. It could be...
Correct, but I think the sense of achievement he got from basketball will never be duplicated.
At his level, I think it's very difficult. I think it can be because you could say the same thing about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was in his shoes, basically, had tons of achievement.
You think Magic
Johnson... Yeah, Magic Johnson's highly successful after basketball.
Correct, but you think that he still has the same sense of achievement that he did while playing basketball?
Yes, I think even more.
How so?
He is a owner of the Lakers, an owner of the Dodgers. I mean, he is highly touted in business acumen. Shaq's probably better.
But basketball,
Shaq in time will be better than all of them.
Okay, but basketball got them into a position to be those things. And the day-to-day competition and the day-to-day grind, I would say, therefore, a sense of achievement would be much higher in a platform like basketball.
Correct.
Okay, than the business world. Right, not to say there isn't a day-to-day grind.
It's a different type of achievement because basketball's
You're never dunking on someone in business.
Not true.
You dunk on people in business?
Two companies going up against each other for a contract. Let's say a marketing contract.
Okay.
Get in there, you propose it.
But there's no crowd that's wrong or people jumping off the bench when you dunk.
Yeah, you have a company behind you. They fucking get those big contracts. They fucking cheer their heads off.
Do they jump off the bench?
They have celebrations after they get these big contracts.
Okay, I redact my previous statement.
Damn right. Order in the motherfucking court.
You won that one. I'll concede where I'm at.
I mean, like...
No, I agree with that.
It was just the two of us, but we've signed big claims where we were like, not going up against like tons of companies.
We've chest bumped, yes.
Okay. So on a grand scale, when you have a team working on a contract.
I
right?
agree with you. Yeah. I hadn't thought of that. That's a good example.
So yes, there's no crowd watching you.
Right.
But internally, team-wise, there's just the same celebration. If we had champagne, they pop champagne.
Fair enough.
Fair?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Of course you do. I'm always fucking right.
I'm not a narcissist.
I know what fucking quinoa is.
Quinoa. He said quinoa.
Bro, he said, all right, real talk.
Before we had garbage time, this is real talk.
Garbage chutes were not made for the 21st century. They were made for old people, right? So you have like that one bag they take out every single day. It's like a Publix bag and they throw it down. A fucking family cannot throw a garbage bag down that thing, right?
It's so frustrating.
I don't even have a garbage chute and I know
I have to fight the garbage bag into the chute.
Right? He has to shove it in. You don't tie it off, do you? Because if
I do.
Oh, you tie it off?
I do.
I would think not tying it off because you have ways to move it.
Otherwise, it's coming out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why don't you just pour it down?
This has become a weird conversation.
Garbage talk. Call it.
Do you think you're the smartest person in the room everywhere you go?
Basically.
What if Gary Vee's in the room? Are you smarter than Gary Vee?
He's the smartest person with a dick in his mouth.
Would I think I'm the smartest guy in the room? Probably not. There's analytical thought, right? And there's logical thought that people, in my mind, is logical. Common sense is not common. Have you heard that before? So sometimes I get asked questions here, anywhere, so on and so forth, and I think that, why the fuck are you asking me? Why is this simple? Just do X, Y, and Z and it gets it done. Now, I'm not saying I'm super book smart. I'm really not. I don't even like fucking reading. I haven't read a book in...
Ever?
Fucking who knows long.
He listened to one once?
I listened to a book in fucking 10 hours straight. People called me, I hang up on them because I want to continue listening. So I'm not the most book smart, but logical thought, analytical thought, yeah, I think I am. The groups that we hang around with, there's guys who learn Jewish study, and they're way fucking smarter than me in that.
Smarter or educated?
Smarter.
What does that mean?
Because it's a different way of thinking, and I don't have that thinking.
Really? I would think it's the opposite. It's actually very analytical.
Certain things, I don't have it, right? It doesn't connect with me. But analytical, logical thought process, things like that, yeah. So Gary, he's very much that way as well, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying I'm Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm not saying that at all.
Can I interrupt and say something?
Go ahead.
So I, for a very long time, watched Vince emulate Gary and incorporate his teachings. I would say, for somebody we've never met or we don't know, Gary has influenced our business and our practice way more than anybody who we don't know, right? And I made fun of it, and I still do because it's fun to make fun of Vince.
I really haven't listened to him in a couple months. Actually.
Whatever. But then I realized something. I had my own aha moment. I was listening to an interview, it was probably only 20 minutes, and I realized that the person they were interviewing, I felt like I related to a lot. What I didn't understand until that moment was that there are certain people, while you don't know them, you connect to them. They just kind of make sense to you. And I think that's what it is with Gary Vee for Vince. While everything he's saying is true about Gary, I think he connects with him in a very down-to-earth, practical way that also relates to his life, right? I never had experienced something like that until I listened to this specific interview with this guy. I don't remember his name. I bought his book. I haven't read it yet, but I'm like, wow. Like, this makes sense. I'm like, you know what? This is what Vince
I'm
must...
so interested to find out who it is.
I'll look it up and I'll tell you.
Is his name Dr. Seuss?
No, it was Dr. Phil. Dr. Seuss did well for himself, all right? So, like, by any measure of success, specifically in the book world. But I realized even though I didn't follow this guy, even though I didn't do all that much, I'm like, this is what Vince must feel because, like, this guy speaks to Vince on a very practical level. So what I didn't understand up until that point was it's like, there's all these people out there, there's all these people speaking. Like, not everybody clicks and relates to certain people, right? Like, I remember when Vince first showed me Gary Vee, I thought the guy was, like, obnoxious, right? And then when I kind of got that out of the way and just listened to what he says, I'm like, wow, this guy's really smart. He really knows what he's talking about. He's really spent a lot of time on this. You know, he's an authority here. And I think that instant click doesn't happen to everybody. So there's so many personalities out there that offer value, but not everybody on the other end like instantly clicks and loves that person.
Yeah, some are surface level. Like you get, okay, great, that was wonderful, nice talk, but didn't like connect with you, right? And then you have a guy say almost the same exact thing. It's like, whoa, that was truth, right? Like,
and their experiences are similar. So that shared experience,
you know, you see
without
it,
even knowing it.
You know, you see it a lot when someone like redoes a song, either takes it from like a rock song into like a more acoustic version, just change the beat maybe, and so on and so forth. Like they're saying the same exact thing, they change it and now it speaks to you.
Oh, whereas the original, like you didn't care for. Oh, that's what you were going with. I thought you meant how it connects to each other.
Look at the Simon & Garfunkel Sound of Silence,
right?
And then when Disturbed did it.
Correct. You don't care about Simon & Garfunkel's, but you like really connected and you like Disturbed.
Right, like it makes the song so much more powerful and palpable.
For you, because you connect with that.
Don't you like the Disturbed?
I do. I like it very much, but I'm saying like there are covers that you like better than the originals. You connect better with that cover.
Right, the lyrics
right?
are the same,
but the world doesn't recognize the cover as the same quality as the original. Everybody still defers to the original.
Michael Jordan, Kobe.
Possibly, yeah.
No, because like that's an opinion.
No, I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I totally disagree with you because I think the character of these players and the way you seem to portray those players, like Allen Iverson, more than any player in the NBA at his time and maybe ever, brought a whole group of fans to the NBA or who were NBA fans who felt like they connected with him. Steph Curry's the next, right? Because Steph Curry's not a big dude. He's not overwhelming. He's not crazy.
He made everyone feel like they could be a basketball player.
Correct, right? And Allen Iverson was the average guy on the street. He says this. This interview I was watching with him yesterday, he's talking about how like, I'm just like what everybody else is. I'm their same size. I dress. I wear the same things.
I dress.
What?
I wear clothes.
No. Because in the NBA at the time, he says this. A lot of the players were afraid to dress
code
the way he
was the best idea ever for the NBA.
Totally disagree. At the time, I thought it was a good idea. Now I think about
look
it.
What they were wearing before and look what they're wearing now.
Basically, what was happening was these players, okay, specifically the black players, felt that they couldn't dress how it reflected on the street, how they were accustomed to. They felt they had to act and dress a certain way, which wasn't them, okay? Allen Iverson said, fuck that, I'm gonna dress the way I wanna dress, right? The way everybody else dressed, okay? And when he did that, everybody's like, yeah, so can we. And that's when the NBA said, oh, we can't do this. We have to, I have no color today. We have to make them wear a dress code, right? But guys, you're talking about now, Westbrook, they're just reflective of what the style is out there. Allen Iverson was reflective of the style that was out there.
No, true.
Look at Rasheed Wallace, right? He was kind of like an Allen Iverson a little before Allen Iverson.
Yeah,
he just wasn't as effective. He did what he wanted. He wore all the throwback jerseys. He would walk around with the championship belt.
Even look at LeBron's draft suit.
That was reflective of the time.
Correct.
Not the white, but how big it was and bulky.
Double white, double breasted.
You guys have to watch this interview.
8 times too big for him.
Okay, Allen Iverson said that he would go to the big and tall. He's not big and tall. Okay, he would buy everything. And the other guys on his team would get upset at him because there would be no inventory left when they would go there. Like the guys who were like 6'11" who needed big and tall. And he was wearing, he said 4XL. I can't imagine what it's like wearing 4XL pants. They didn't. They were so baggy.
No, baggy, how did it would just fall off.
It was falling off. I think that was the look then. You know what I mean?